Everything in life begins with a thought. Every invention, every success, every failure, every breakthrough, nothing happens without first being conceived in the mind. The greatest power ever given to humanity is the ability to think, because thoughts are the seeds of reality. Whatever dominates your mind will shape your future. If you believe you are limited, you will live a limited life. If you see yourself as a failure, you will create circumstances that confirm that belief. But if you train your mind to see possibilities, to focus on solutions, and to expect great things, you will begin to attract those very outcomes into your life. This is not magic. This is the law of the mind. Everything you are today is the result of thoughts you have entertained, nurtured, and acted upon in the past. Your thoughts have been constructing your world, whether you realized it or not. A thought by itself may seem small and insignificant, but it is never just a thought. It is a blueprint. It is a foundation. Every thought is an instruction to your mind, your body, and your circumstances. Negative thoughts create barriers, while positive thoughts open doors. Fearful thoughts paralyze, while courageous thoughts propel you forward. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant will grow. If you plant doubt, you will harvest hesitation. If you plant confidence, you will reap boldness. The problem is that many people allow their thoughts to be shaped by external circumstances rather than by internal conviction. They react to life instead of designing their lives. They focus on what they see instead of what they want to create. But here is the truth. Your mind is not a slave to your environment. Your environment is a reflection of your mind. Change your thoughts, and your world will begin to change. This is why discipline of thought is so critical. You cannot afford to entertain every idea that enters your mind. You must filter your thoughts, choose them carefully, and focus only on those that align with the future you desire. Do not waste mental energy on fear, self-doubt, or negativity. Instead, direct your mind toward vision, strategy, and faith. The most successful people in history were not those who had perfect conditions, but those who had the right thoughts despite their conditions. Your life will always follow the direction of your most dominant thoughts. If you want a different outcome, you must begin with a different mindset. Stop waiting for things to change before you believe. Believe first, and things will change. Your thoughts are powerful. They are shaping your destiny. Guard them, cultivate them, and use them wisely, because what you think today is what you will live tomorrow. Everything you see in the world today started as a thought. The buildings you walk past, the devices you use, the systems that govern society, all of them were first ideas in someone's mind before they became reality. A thought is never just a passing moment. It is a seed, and every seed carries the potential for something greater. The difference between those who build their dreams and those who watch from the sidelines is not ability, but the recognition of this truth. What you think about will eventually shape what you experience. Your thoughts are the architects of your future. Every great invention, every breakthrough, and every major success began with a single thought that was nurtured, developed, and acted upon. But here's the challenge. Many people do not take their thoughts seriously. They assume that what goes on in their minds is harmless, that their thoughts have no real power. Yet, their entire life is a direct reflection of the thoughts they have consistently entertained. If you allow your mind to be filled with fear, doubt, and limitation, your actions will follow that same pattern. You will hesitate when you should move forward, you will settle when you should advance, and you will talk yourself out of opportunities that were meant for you. But if you train your mind to focus on possibilities, solutions, and success, then you will begin to take actions that align with those expectations. The mind is the starting point of everything. You cannot rise above your own thinking. You cannot live beyond your own vision. If you want to change your life, do not start with your environment. Start with your thoughts. Your thoughts will construct your reality, brick by brick, moment by moment, until what you have been imagining becomes the world you are living in. Your dominant thoughts are the driving force behind the life you create. Whatever fills your mind the most will shape your decisions, your habits, and ultimately your future. The way you think determines the way you live. If your mind is constantly focused on problems, you will only see obstacles. But if your thoughts are centered on possibilities, you will begin to recognize opportunities everywhere. Many people struggle in life not because they lack talent or ability, but because their thoughts are working against them. They allow negative thinking to take root, convincing themselves that they are not good enough, that success is out of reach, or that they are trapped by their circumstances. The truth is, their circumstances are not the problem. Their mindset is. They have built mental barriers that keep them from stepping into the future they desire. But the opposite is also true. Those who train their minds to think differently, to focus on growth, progress, and solutions, begin to act in ways that align with those thoughts. When you believe that something is possible, your mind starts searching for ways to make it happen. You begin to take actions that move you closer to your vision. You start seeing opportunities where others see impossibility. Your thinking creates a blueprint, and your life follows that design. You cannot afford to let just any thought dominate your mind. You must guard your mental space with the same intensity as you would protect your most valuable possession. The thoughts you allow to take root will determine the direction of your life. If you want to change where you are going, start by changing what you are thinking. The mind is a powerful creator, shaping the world around you based on what you consistently think and believe. Every thought you entertain sends instructions to your brain, influencing how you see yourself, how you interpret situations, and how you respond to life's challenges. What you think today determines the reality you will experience tomorrow. Your thoughts are not just passive ideas floating in your mind. They are active forces that influence your emotions, decisions, and behavior. If you constantly think about failure, you will hesitate to take risks. If you focus on limitations, you will never push beyond your comfort zone. But if you train your mind to dwell on possibilities, solutions, and success, you will start seeing new pathways open before you. The greatest innovators and leaders throughout history were not necessarily the most talented or the most privileged. They were the ones who disciplined their minds to think differently. They refused to let fear dictate their actions. They trained themselves to see opportunities where others saw obstacles. They understood that their mind was not just a place for wishful thinking. It was a tool for shaping reality. You have that same power within you. The question is, what are you feeding your mind? What thoughts are you allowing to take root? Because whatever dominates your thinking will eventually manifest in your life. If you want to change your reality, start by renewing your mind, choosing your thoughts with intention, and focusing on the vision of the life you were meant to live. Negative thoughts create limitations, not because the world is against you, but because your mind has built barriers that keep you from seeing beyond your current circumstances. The greatest prison is not made of iron bars, but of limiting beliefs. When you allow doubt, fear, and insecurity to dominate your thinking, you begin to accept failure before even trying. You talk yourself out of opportunities that were meant for you simply because your mind has convinced you that they are beyond your reach. Many people do not fail because they lack the ability, but because they have already lost the battle in their minds. They constantly tell themselves, I'm not good enough, I don't have the resources, or I will never succeed. These thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies, shaping their actions and keeping them trapped in a cycle of mediocrity. When the mind is filled with negativity, it blinds you to the doors that are already open in front of you. But the truth is, the only real limitation is the one you accept. When you refuse to let negative thoughts control you, you begin to see that every obstacle is an opportunity in disguise. The same situation that causes one person to give up can become the launching pad for another. It all depends on the perspective you choose to adopt. If you allow your mind to be ruled by fear, you will always find reasons to stay where you are. But if you decide to challenge your own doubts and push past them, you will begin to experience a life that reflects the power of a transformed mind. The mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, they will take root and produce a life of struggle and stagnation. But if you plant seeds of faith, confidence, and vision, they will flourish into a life of purpose and fulfillment. The problem is that too many people allow weeds to grow in their minds, negative thoughts that choke out the potential of their dreams. They entertain ideas that tell them they are not good enough, not smart enough, or not capable of achieving great things. These thoughts, repeated over time, shape their identity and define the way they approach life. The truth is, your mind does not discriminate between good and bad seeds. It simply nurtures whatever you feed it. If you consistently think about failure, your mind will look for evidence to confirm that belief. If you focus on possibilities, your mind will work tirelessly to bring them to life. This is why it is critical to guard what you allow into your mind, the conversations you entertain, the media you consume, and the words you speak to yourself are all shaping the garden of your mind. You cannot expect a harvest of success if you are planting thoughts of defeat. You must be intentional about what you allow to grow in your mind. If a negative thought enters, uproot it immediately before it takes hold. Replace it with a thought that aligns with your purpose and vision. You have the power to cultivate the kind of thinking that leads to the life you were meant to live. But it all starts with what you choose to plant in your mind today. Every great achievement begins as a thought. Before a building is constructed, there is first a blueprint. Before a book is written, there is first an idea. Before any invention comes to life, there is first a vision in someone's mind. This is the power of thought. Nothing exists in reality that was not first conceived in the mind. The problem is, many people allow their thoughts to be shaped by their fears rather than their faith. They build mental blueprints for failure, mediocrity, and limitation, and then wonder why their lives reflect those very things. The mind operates like a compass, directing your life toward the dominant thoughts you hold. If you constantly think about struggles, setbacks, and problems, your mind will keep leading you into situations that reinforce those beliefs. But if you choose to focus on solutions, success, and growth, your mind will begin aligning your actions with those expectations. The challenge is not in the world around you, it is in the thoughts within you. If you can shift your thinking, you can shift your reality. The most successful people in history were not those who had the most resources, the most connections, or the easiest paths. They were those who disciplined their minds to hold on to vision even when circumstances said otherwise. They saw the invisible before it became visible. They understood that thoughts are the seeds of reality, and they nurtured the right ones until they bore fruit. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mind. If you want to build something great, you must first see it in your thoughts. Because whatever you allow to live in your mind today will become the reality you walk into tomorrow. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. What you dwell on consistently becomes the foundation upon which your life is built. If you fill your mind with fear, doubt, and hesitation, you are constructing a life filled with uncertainty and limitation. But if you fill your mind with faith, courage, and purpose, you are laying the groundwork for a life of success and fulfillment. The challenge is that many people allow their environment to dictate their thinking rather than taking control of their own minds. They absorb the negativity around them, listen to voices that discourage them, and allow circumstances to shape their beliefs about what is possible. The reality is that external situations do not have the power to define you unless you allow them to. Two people can go through the same hardship, yet one will emerge stronger while the other remains stuck. The difference is not in the situation, it is in the mindset. One chooses to see obstacles as roadblocks, while the other sees them as stepping stones. One focuses on what they lack, while the other focuses on what they can create. The same world, the same conditions, but a completely different outcome because of the power of thought. You must guard your mind with discipline. Be intentional about what you allow to shape your thinking. Surround yourself with voices that push you forward rather than those that hold you back. Fill your mind with possibilities instead of limitations. Train yourself to see opportunities where others see problems. Because the person who controls their thoughts controls their future. And if you can master your thinking, there is no limit to what you can create in your life. Your thoughts are the seeds of your future, and every seed produces after its own kind. If you sow thoughts of failure, you will reap failure. If you sow thoughts of success, you will reap success. The mind is like a field, always ready to produce whatever is planted in it. The problem is that many people allow weeds to grow alongside their good seeds. They dream of a better life but entertain thoughts of doubt and insecurity. They desire success but constantly tell themselves they are not good enough. These contradictions create internal conflicts that sabotage their progress. You cannot think like a failure and expect to succeed. You cannot dwell on fear and expect to walk in confidence. Your mind must be fully aligned with the vision you have for your life. The most powerful thing about thought is that it influences not just what you see, but how you respond. If you believe opportunities are scarce, you will overlook them even when they are right in front of you. But if you train your mind to expect favor, you will begin to recognize doors opening in places you never imagined. Your thoughts determine your energy, your decisions, and your resilience. People who think positively attract positive outcomes because their mindset positions them to take action when opportunities arise. But those who think negatively hesitate, procrastinate, and allow fear to rob them of their potential. If you want to change your reality, you must first take responsibility for the way you think, because your life is simply a reflection of the thoughts you have consistently entertained and nurtured over time. Your thoughts do not operate in isolation. They shape your beliefs, and your beliefs dictate your actions. The way you see yourself, the way you perceive your abilities, and the way you interpret the world around you all stem from the thoughts you have nurtured over time. If you believe that success is for other people but not for you, your actions will reflect that. You will hesitate when opportunities come. You will shrink back when challenges arise. You will settle for less than what you are capable of achieving, not because you are incapable, but because your mind has already convinced you that you are. On the other hand, when you cultivate thoughts of possibility, your entire being aligns with that mindset. You begin to take bold steps where others retreat. You see challenges as opportunities to grow. You develop resilience, refusing to let temporary setbacks define you. This is why two people can face the same situation but produce completely different results. One is defeated in their mind before the battle even begins, while the other has already won the battle mentally before stepping into it. Your actions will never rise higher than your thoughts. You cannot outperform your own belief system. If you think small, you will live small. If you think expansively, you will attract growth and abundance. This is why it is critical to train your mind daily. You must become intentional about what you allow yourself to believe, because the moment your thoughts shift, your reality will follow. The moment you begin to see yourself differently, you will act differently. And the moment you act differently, the world will respond to you in a way it never has before. Your mind is a magnet, constantly attracting what it dwells upon. If you focus on lack, you will see more scarcity. If you focus on possibilities, you will begin to recognize opportunities where others see nothing. The way you think determines the energy you emit, and that energy shapes the way people respond to you, the way doors open for you, and the way situations unfold in your life. Some people walk into a room with the expectation of rejection, and as a result, they unconsciously present themselves in a way that pushes people away. Others step into the same room expecting to be valued, and their confidence draws others toward them. What changed? Not the environment, but the mindset. Your thoughts shape your behavior, your posture, your tone, and even the way you carry yourself. Before you ever say a word, your thoughts have already spoken on your behalf. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you believe. If you believe you are worthy of greatness, you will pursue it with boldness. If you believe you are meant to struggle, you will sabotage yourself even when success is within reach. Your thoughts will either pull you forward or hold you back. You cannot afford to entertain ideas that shrink your potential. Every thought is either planting seeds of confidence or seeds of fear. And whatever you nourish will determine the harvest you reap in life. Your thoughts are the architects of your future. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every innovation first began as a thought in someone's mind. The reality you experience today is simply the manifestation of thoughts you've consistently entertained. If you dwell on impossibility, you will find yourself surrounded by barriers. If you meditate on solutions, you will begin to attract answers that others overlook. The mind is powerful, but it does not work alone. It influences your words, and your words shape your destiny. What you consistently speak is a reflection of what you believe. And what you believe determines what you expect. If you constantly declare that nothing ever works out for you, your actions will align with that belief, and you will sabotage opportunities without realizing it. But if you speak with expectation, your mind begins to align with the reality you desire, and your actions will follow. Your thoughts shape your perspective, and your perspective determines what you notice. Two people can walk through the same situation, but one sees an obstacle while the other sees an opportunity. The difference is not in what is happening around them, but in how their mind interprets it. If you change the way you think, you will change what you see, and when you change what you see, you will begin to move in a direction that aligns with the vision in your mind. Your thoughts are seeds, and your mind is the soil. Whatever you consistently plant will take root and produce fruit in your life. If you allow thoughts of fear, doubt, and failure to dominate your mind, they will grow into actions and habits that limit you. But if you intentionally plant thoughts of victory, purpose, and limitless potential, they will produce a harvest of success, confidence, and fulfillment. Your mind does not discriminate between the seeds you sow. It simply nurtures what you feed it. This is why you must guard your thoughts with diligence. You cannot afford to entertain negativity and expect positive results. Every time you allow self-doubt to linger, you are watering the wrong seeds. Every time you rehearse your past failures instead of envisioning future victories, you are strengthening the wrong roots. What you focus on expands, and what you meditate on shapes your reality. Greatness is not a coincidence. It is the result of a disciplined mind. Those who achieve extraordinary things are not necessarily more talented or gifted. They have simply mastered the art of aligning their thoughts with their vision. They think at a higher level. They speak with conviction, and they act with certainty. They do not allow temporary setbacks to dictate their future, because their minds are already fixed on the destination. When you train your thoughts to align with purpose, your life will begin to shift, and you will walk into the reality you have been creating in your mind all along. Your life is the sum total of the thoughts you have nurtured and the beliefs you have embraced. Nothing in your life happens by accident. Your thoughts have been shaping your reality long before you realized it. If you want to change your future, you must first change your mind. You cannot afford to think small and expect to live big. You cannot dwell on limitations and expect to walk in abundance. Your mind is the battlefield where victories are won or lost before they ever manifest in the physical world. You must take control of what you allow to settle in your heart and mind. Choose to think thoughts that elevate you. Choose to meditate on possibilities rather than problems. Choose to see yourself as capable, worthy, and destined for something greater. The power to transform your life is already within you. It is not locked in your circumstances, your background, or the opinions of others. It is locked in your thinking. Your future is waiting on you to align your thoughts with your purpose. The moment you begin to think in accordance with the vision placed inside of you, everything around you will begin to shift. You will walk differently, talk differently, and make decisions with confidence. What you believe about yourself will determine what you experience in life. If you master your mind, you will master your destiny.